Who's this? Oh, you're an entrepreneur? Oh, you're a real estate investor. Oh, you're trying to learn from those who did it. Well, come into the lab then. Put your white coat on, gloves on, notepad, and let's build, y'all. Real estate experiment. What is happening, y'all? Today we had Alina Trigub with us. Thank you for joining us in the lab, Alina. We are way overdue. Usually, like the folks that have come join us in the lab, it is the lab wearing our experiment coats today because you have a true practitioner in one which we actually share a lot of similarities to. But I'd like you to introduce you to the community. I know you're doing tons, and I would love to hear how you began your journey of, who Alina was before and who Alina is today. And I will make sure that if you undersell yourself, I will let the people know that there's more to it than that. So Alina, why don't you tell us experimenters who you are and how you got here?
Oh, thank you, Ruben, for that lovely introduction. I truly do appreciate that. I guess my journey started when I was going through my undergrad at Baruch, getting my degree in accounting, and was hoping for a bright future in a field that I never really liked and enjoyed. And after trying it in both public world at a CPA firm, Big Five at that time, and then private world, I realized that taxes or accounting just was not my cup of tea, and I wanted to do something completely different. By chance, I was able to switch into technology world and take a role within the technology team, but being more or less a liaison between business and technology. And I've done many things in the last 20 years in the corporate world within technology, but all in all, most of the roles have been with the primary purpose of connecting these two worlds, the business and technology. And while working and while having my income grow, myself and my husband, I was constantly kept by the thought of that AMT rising. And for those that don't know, it's alternative minimum tax, and finding a way to really eliminate or minimize that AMT and minimize taxes in general. And so real estate was one of those topics that has been on my mind for many, many years, and I just haven't taken any action. And finally, about 7 years ago, I decided to take action, started doing the research, and I decided that I'm gonna buy some properties, intelligently, let's put it this way, because we bought some properties unintelligently, got our own experience and our life lessons with those unexperienced properties. But this time I wanted to do it intelligently, and so I started looking locally, only to prove myself that there is nothing where the numbers would make sense. And after doing that for almost a year, I decided that I have to go with the out-of-state strategy. There was just nothing in northern New Jersey or New Jersey overall that would make sense for me. And while doing the research for out-of-state investing, I came across the world of syndications, and I started reading about this syndication thing. And I'm like, what is this? And for someone who's done accounting and as an undergrad and then finance as a grad degree, I'm like, why have I not ever heard such word? And I started digging and researching, and then it dawned on me that this was the strategy that I should start implementing. So I started investing as an equity partner in someone else's syndication deals. And for those that don't know, syndication is essentially when a group of people decides to pool the funds together and invest it with someone who would do all the work. So the person that's doing all the work, active investor, if you will, or general partner, or syndicator, or operator, all those words can be used interchangeably, is on one side. And then equity partners or passive investors or limited partners are the people that are bringing the funds, and they're not doing any work at all other than bringing their funds into the deal itself. So I came in as that passive investor, and was pleasantly surprised by how easy and great of a strategy it was for someone who doesn't want to be involved but wants to be a real estate investor. So I did one and then another and then another, and through that domino effect, I've accumulated a number of investments this way. And after realizing how great of a strategy it was for people that would like to invest, would like to reap the rewards of being passive investors, would like to have the tax benefits and really start building their wealth passively through the strategy, this was amazing. And to my surprise, not too many people knew or still to this day know about the strategy. So
That's right.
with that purpose in mind, the idea of Samo Financial, my company, was born with the sole purpose of helping folks like you and I to start investing, to become real estate investors and really benefit from this residual income, the tax benefits, and the overall social aspect. Because in reality, what we're doing is we're coming to the communities where the properties are underperforming, and we work on improving them and beautifying and making them better. So if it's an apartment complex, so that families or single people can come into our community and really feel that this is a home for them. It's the place where they want to stay and live for a long time and enjoy being part of that community. So that, to me, that social aspect is also tremendous, because I feel like I'm bringing value to someone on the other end of the spectrum by helping them find their home. And it's coming from someone who also lived in workforce housing for many years while I was going to school, and understands what it's like to live in an apartment complex. This is truly a great opportunity by serving both sides and helping people if from many different walks of life, either to find a place to live or build their wealth, and have other components that benefit people that are investing or living in such.
Look at that. Look at that. So, Alina, I want that, first of all, fantastic. And I think you give us a more than a great overview of what you've done in your journey, which we love. But I want to take a step back, because we get, we hear and we're like, oh, okay, that sounds great. But I want to hit a few key points that you mentioned, right?
Sure.
Which I think are key. One, you mentioned location, and then you mentioned experience, right? And location, I want to make sure that we hear, there's a lot of people here in the East Coast, maybe Northeast, are saying, real estate's crazy out here. So I want to point that out. Where are you currently located? Where are you from? Give your city a shout out, just so we understand where you're coming from, as far as market goes.
Sure. So originally, just like James Bond said, I'm from Russia with love. For
there you go.
maybe I have to be politically correct and say I was born in Ukraine, but I came when it was still Soviet Union. But I live in northern part of New Jersey, very close to New York City, 15 minutes away. So the area where I'm located is very expensive. It's extremely pricey. And for someone living on either East Coast or West Coast, it's easy to understand, or in any large city, the real estate is extremely expensive here.
Right.
And people are fighting for 3.5%, 4.5% cap, which for me is completely out of the question. It's just not my
right. And we can agree to that, as we're looking at some of the southern markets where it's the Carolinas, maybe, or the Georgias, right, of the world, right, there's different returns. So the reason why I want to hone in on this is I know a lot of people will be able to relate with you, where, oh my goodness, like I want to get into real estate, but how does that look like for me if I'm currently in the Northeast, like a New Jersey? So let's talk about that. And then you mentioned experience, which I know is very big. We talk about this in the lab, being practitioners. Okay, so how important was it for you to join to be a passive partner? Because I know there's some folks out there who join syndications who may or may not, maybe they want to be passive and they don't want to have access to learning, but maybe it sounds like you leverage that to then learn how to do it yourself. Would I be correct in thinking that? And is that what you got out of it? Or was it just simply, let me get my feet wet? Which one was it?
Absolutely. So when I started investing as a passive investor, it was purely for the purpose of building wealth. And this was just the way that I found that worked for me at the time. But as I gained more knowledge in the field, and as I learned more about syndications, I realized that I had interest in the field and I wanted to learn more. And the more I learned, the more desire I had to do it myself. And hence I bought a self-paced course from practically at that time. He just started selling those courses, and I learned the syndication through that course, plus the books, plus the podcast, plus numerous conferences, plus numerous meetups. Some of them I host, plus the investments that I have been doing for several years up until that point. Plus, yes, I guess it's minor, but I do have to mention that my education and background. So that did come
Right.
into play. While I never heard the word syndication, I
Yes.
obviously heard such words as cash on cash, IRR, annual return. So these were not foreign to me. These
Yeah.
concepts I knew, of course, and understood well because of my background. So all of it combined together gave me a foundation to really build my company and start helping other people, because I have that background and I have the foundation that I built myself, and the personal experience. You know,
Right.
it's the easiest thing to do is to bring your personal experience and tell other people what it felt like, what it was for you, how I started, what I was looking for, how I went about reviewing and deciding on certain things.
Okay, so and I'm glad you said that, Alina, and I'm wondering as well, because there might be a few listeners who are maybe are thinking of joining, becoming a limited partner is the other way to call it, or being a passive investor. And would you say that, again, I want to hone in on the tactical approach, because I think that's really important.
Sure.
It sounds like you obviously self-educated, you invested in yourself into learning. Would you say you have as much access as a limited partner to deals and understanding, or do you feel that you, in addition to that, need to go elsewhere? I think what I'm really asking is, can one get access to getting a little bit more information on how the operation is run in the syndication as a limited partner, or should they go elsewhere for more information?
I think they can get a lot of information by being limited partner. They will probably not get all of the nitty-gritty details. For that, I would strongly recommend self-educating themselves. Again, books, conferences, podcasts, and then if they want to go deeper, then obviously taking a course from someone experienced, someone who is already doing it. But even from the books and podcasts and just interaction with other people, even at meetups, you know, there are a lot of meetups that support bringing syndicators and operators. For instance, our meetup that's happening in about less than 2 weeks, we're going to have a syndicator with numerous years of experience who is going to talk about his expertise. So, you know, and everyone is welcome. We don't differentiate. So everyone is welcome to that. That's going to be in the city. So through those kind of channels, people can learn and, you know, absorb the information and pull it all together and, determine whether specific investment is for them or not. But again, it takes a while at the beginning. If someone decides that they want to be passive investor, it's not going to come to them just by looking at the offering memorandum. They do need to have either background or education in the field, or self-educate themselves first in order to be able to understand what they're looking at, how to read the offering memorandum, how to combine the strategy with the quantitative analysis, and really what to make of it so they can make an intelligent decision whether a particular offering is the right one for them or not.
Okay, so I'm glad you touched on that too, because I know that's one thing where people, you know, it's kind of a hot topic right now, multifamily. A lot of people are talking about it, but there is a lot of things that you have to undergo. It's from the team members you got to put together, the paperwork, the lawyers, the attorneys, all that. Do you want to maybe talk about your transition? Was it from a strictly from passive investor to a multifamily, to a general partner? And that transition, how did you close the gap between those three? Did you first try to find who your team members should be? Did you, I know you talked about self-education, but like, how do you bridge that gap between the theoretical to the practical? What was the next step for you?
In addition to education, it was a lot of networking and finding the right people, the right partners to work with, people that I wanted to partner up. Because at the beginning, it's really hard to get a head start for someone who wants to be active in the field. So the best thing that I would advise people to do is to find an experienced operator and try to offer value to them, or just shadow them, shadow what they do. So you can take that and reflect on that experience and decide how you can replicate that. Syndication has been around for many years, and there is no need to reinvent the wheel. What you need to do is really find the successful people, regardless what they do. And this applies not only to syndication, it applies to any field. Find
Absolutely.
successful people and replicate what they're doing. Break down the steps and just follow same steps. And if you want to get closer to these people, what you need to do is find what their pain points are, where they need help, whether it's deal finding or maybe property management or maybe funding, whatever it is. Find the gap that they have or the pain points they have in their business and find the way to close that gap so you can help them. And if you help them, it's natural for the folks to reciprocate and help you back and just continue bringing value without having any expectations of receiving anything back. And if they see you putting the efforts, if they see that you're working and trying your best to help them out, people will reciprocate. But again, you shouldn't be doing it with that agenda in mind,
Right.
to expecting something back, because that's not how it works. You should be doing it with an open heart, and you should be doing it because you want to help them. But by helping them, you're putting yourself in a position that's very close to the successful person, and you're able to shadow, you're able to see what they're doing. That gives you an opportunity to ask questions. Why did you take this step, not that step?
Mhm.
Why are you taking this strategy, not that strategy? And when you're that close, they'll answer your questions, as opposed to you're just
Coming
walking
in
through.
empty-handed, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, Alina, because I call that social currency, so to speak. It's we were
I
just talking
love
about
that.
this. I came back from GrowthCon, a fantastic event, and we were just talking about the importance of over delivering value to somebody. So when it's time for you to perhaps ask a question or favor, they feel like they owe you. Like, I want to give you 10 favors, Alina. That's my goal. So that when I ask for that one, maybe I'm like, hey, do you happen to know, you feel indebted? And I think that's the goal here, to just over deliver. And
Yep.
so, but I'm not gonna let you get away. You're in the lab. You're a practitioner, and we talk high level sometimes, and then we can't really paint the whole picture. So how does value add look like for you? Because listen, you're doing a lot, Alina. You're literally a managing partner, a board of directors member. You're a scrum master at a big company. How do you even host your real estate host in multiple meetups? I know this. That I wasn't gonna let you get away. So you guys got to check out what Alina is doing. It's fantastic. So what made that look like, right? You educate yourself, but then what's next? And where do you even find the time to add value to people, and how do you do it? Can you just give us an example of, if you want to take us a step back, of how that looked tactically for you?
Sure. So in order to, I'll start from the end because that's the question I remember. In order to find the time, you look at the blocks that you already have and you remove what's not important. The
I
easiest
like where you're going with
piece,
this.
like people talk about when they talk about their income statement, they say, hey, stop drinking that Starbucks coffee. The easiest piece when looking at the time, stop watching TV. For me, it was no brainer. I don't
Yeah.
really care about TV that much. So I removed that out of the picture. I watch it maybe once or twice a month, if at that. And it's not a big loss for me. For other
Yeah.
people, maybe it's important, but for me, it was a no-brainer. By removing that from my time, I freed up a bunch of hours every single day and over the weekend, and that gives me time to do things that I enjoy the most. I mean, and don't take me wrong, real estate is a business, and that business has ups and downs and tons of obstacles, and it's very challenging. But because I know my why, and because I enjoy what I do, because I love helping other people and seeing a smile on someone else's face when I tell them this is residual income, you literally have nothing to do. You just put your funds in, invest the funds with us, and you'll start getting dividends. People are like, are you serious? I don't have to get that phone call in the middle of the night. I don't have to talk to a plumber. I'm like, no,
Mhm.
no. And on top of it, you get the tax benefits on the tax form as if you're doing all the work, and you're getting the benefits from it as well. It's amazing, to see the shock on people's faces when they hear stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I just I love helping other people get to that point. and that's why eliminating that TV time is not important. I also look at other things that I'm doing, and when can I find the time that does not impact directly my work or my family. And maybe it means getting up early, or for some people staying in later, but that extra hour when it's quiet and nobody's bothering you really does help a lot, because that allows you to concentrate within that time on what's important. And for those people that can't concentrate, I typically suggest reading One Thing by Gary Keller and what's his name, Jay Papasan,
Hmm.
because the book really talks about concentrating on that one thing that's important, that's going to move the needle for you this particular day or this particular week or this particular month, whatever it is. But it helps you concentrate and focus and get the direction towards your goal. So I highly
Good,
recommend that.
good for you. You also seem to be, I would have to guess, have you read The Miracle Morning by Rod?
I was not, but I love
You
Hal. I've read
okay?
his book twice actually,
Yeah.
and I'm a big huge fan of Hal. Yeah, he's
Yeah, I
incredible,
think
great
I
guy.
think you might appreciate that because you strike me as a perhaps a morning person, but
I am a
I could
morning
be,
person.
yeah, I could see
Yeah,
it in your eyes, Alina.
thank
that's
you.
that's awesome. So that's
Are you a
fantastic.
morning person?
Absolutely. I need to focus more on that. That is my gift. I'm high on energy. Like I don't drink coffee, I don't drink anything. I'm just live off energy. And it's
Wow,
sometimes it's to my detriment because I need to make sure I'm taking care, but I'm like up like this all the time.
excellent. Good
So
for you.
that's my gift. That's why I'm here. That's why hopefully I can
That's amazing.
pour in that energy into your cup as well.
Yeah, I
Uh
love.
awesome. So what one thing I always I want to make sure I understand is I know you talked. I'm a big. I love how you went into the personal development part because I do feel that that is a reflection of your business and who you are as a person. And I know you and I are energy connected right away just because we're in
Yeah,
similar networks
instantly.
and instantly, and we have very similar backgrounds too, which I think is really neat. But let's talk about networking. Like I think initially I had perhaps maybe we connected. I reached out to you. You seem to be well in alignment with what I believe in being a super connector in the community. And I think that's fascinating because we don't talk about enough how real estate really is it's for the community. It's bettering people. It's helping them get the financial freedom. It's also they're helping you as a managing partner. So it's a win-win for everybody. But how important would you say, like, why are you doing all these meetups? Is it, what is it? Like, I mean, you seem to be doing a really good job, but how important is it for someone that might be listening who maybe is not doing it to build a network?
So when I started back, X many years ago, looking at real estate 6, 7 years ago, I remember going to the meetups, sitting in a corner, not talking to anyone, waiting for that presenter to present and just go. And gradually I started warming up and maybe talk to one or two or three people. And having that experience made me reflect, and realize that that I'm not the only one who feels that way, and I really wanted to help others to overcome that obstacle, because really the people in the room, they're there to network, so no one's gonna bite or jump or scream at you. And that's the type of atmosphere that I wanted to create in my group, where anyone and everyone is welcome, regardless of your level of experience or knowledge. And you come because number one, you want to network, number two, you want to learn. And that's why I try to create that atmosphere. And you can ask anyone in my meetup, especially New Jersey ones, people are very close by, that people come there and they feel welcome immediately. They always 100% learn something. I hear it every single time, literally every single meetup. And I'm grateful to the presenters that come and bring value to the people. And I always tell them that we it's no solicitation, no sales pitches, nothing like that, but they're able to deliver so much value that the people are just learning. And it's fascinating to see the progression, especially since I have people from different walks of life. I have some passive investors, I have flippers, I have someone who does I think REOs. And so people from different types of real estate investing industry. And even with that, they still benefit from every presenter that comes to a group, and that gives me tremendous satisfaction when I know that people are coming for knowledge, for networking, and this is a safe place for everyone to learn and grow and potentially help each other. And I always encourage others help. Hey, if you're a wholesaler and you have this duplex, bring it in. Maybe we have someone who is looking for exactly that. Maybe not in that town, but they consider your town because you have this duplex. And that's the environment that would make me feel comfortable back then, 6 years ago. And that's why I want to help others to escalate that comfort level sooner. Hope that makes sense.
Absolutely. So, and I love how you said that. So I guess you said between 6-7 years ago, which is fascinating. That's a lot of knowledge. That's a whole nother degree, which is fantastic of application. What do you think is the best lesson that you've learned? It could be tactical, or it could be just overall kind of like whether it's personal development, but more of a, do you have a lesson that sticks out in your mind from doing this for 7 years that you would like to share with us in the community?
For someone who wants to learn, to do.
Oh, yes. Yeah, as a practitioner, as always. So for someone who's trying to get in the game, for someone who is in the game currently, I don't know if there's, as you've seen within the 7-year window, if there's anything specifically that jumps out at you that's a key takeaway that I should always keep a note of in my real estate profession.
So for someone who wants to be active in syndication space, I would say, networking is number one. It's very, very important to network, establish and build the relationship with the right partners. Real estate, just like any field, is a team sport. That's why it's very, very important to build your team from the get-go, but it doesn't mean jumping into relationship or becoming partners with someone immediately. Take your time, build a relationship, find the partners where the relationship are complementary and you would benefit from working with each other. But make sure that in addition to that, there's also an alignment in strategy where your goals and your partner or partner's goals are completely aligned and you are shooting for the same thing down the line. And, and what I mean by that is, let's say, you want to be investing and buying properties for 10, 15, 20 years, where your partners are more interested in like an active flipping and doing it every 2, 3, 4 years. The strategies are completely off. This is not going to work. So making sure that the strategies are aligned, the interests are aligned, and the skills are complementary will put you in the right spot with the right people. And that's what I'm saying. Take the time to really understand that, get to know your potential future partners. So these are the people you can work together, because admit it, in a team sport, you need to have a team. You can't work together.
Yeah.
Be prepared for that.
Do you think, Alina, that it's more important to have someone who has complementary skills more, or would you rather have someone who is, that they're going to be there for the longevity? Because I know the partnership is very tricky and we talk about it often. I'd like to see where you lean towards. Is it more a skill set for you? Is it more I guess an accommodative relationship? Like, what matters to you most, and what should people look out for? Both. Cool. Yeah. I can't get away from anything.
No, you can't get away from anything. I mean, if it happens to be your partner in life, a personal partner, friend, wife, maybe you can find that split. But think of it this way: your interests are aligned, but you have an absolutely identical skill set. Let's say it's analytical skill.
Yeah.
So both of you are doing that analytical piece. Let's say it's underwriting. Who is going to do the construction piece? Who is going to manage the property? Who's going to find the property? Both of you have the same interest, but someone has to take the time away from your interest and put it into something else. It's more challenging than as opposed to finding someone who really enjoys constructions or who really enjoys being out there, sniffing for properties, talking to brokers, talking to directly to the owners. So that's why it's essential to find that person with that other skill set and the strategy aligned, and then partner up.
Excellent. Well, listen, I want to make sure we finish up with the rapid fire question to make sure that we understand who the person is behind. I'm going to start off. You only get one answer because you're very very elaborate, and you describe things very well. I want to make sure that you get one shot to just give me one short answer. So,
Okay.
rapid fire question right here. What is your favorite book?
Miracle Morning.
Love it. Best habit that serves you every day.
Getting up early.
Nice. Best tool that helps you excel throughout the day. Could be a tool or application.
Best tool that helps me throughout the day. iPhone.
Nice. That's right. One 300 unit apartment or 3 apartments of 100 units?
The first one.
One 300 unit. Why?
Yeah. Economy of scale. I'd rather have that one roof or multiple roofs in one spot as opposed to multiple all over the place. Having my property management go from Brooklyn to Bronx to the Bronx or the Queens. I'd rather have it all in Long Island City or whatever it is, and have them manage it.
You'd be surprised how often I get this answer is 50-50 for a lot of savvy investors who come in.
Everyone has their own preferences,
which is fantastic. Class A or Class B?
B.
Cashflow.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I was gonna.
You're gonna get. I'm getting you excited. If you got more time, I just want to respect
No
your
worries.
time. Cashflow or equity?
Both.
I got you there. Self-manage or outsource?
Outsource.
Okay. If you had one superpower, what would it be?
Help a million of other people.
Beautiful. If you could describe a successful investor or syndicator in one word, which one would you pick?
One word. I guess professionalism.
What question do you wish I would have asked you today that I didn't ask you?
And I get to answer that question or no answer?
Yeah, you get to answer that question. That was done rapid fire question.
Okay, so then it cannot be a personal one.
No.
I guess a lot of people struggle to determine whether they want to be active or passive. So that's the question that I help people answer. I even wrote multiple articles on that topic.
Okay, excellent. I guess, and we'll definitely make sure we put where we can find that answer.
I can send you the link to my article.
Oh, we will definitely put that in the show notes for sure. I guess for you, it sounds like you've made your choice. Are you still a limited partner, or do you just choose to do a managing partner, or do a little bit of both? I know you do both.
Yeah.
Of course, that seems to be the theme. You're just juggling both. That's awesome. Good for you. I guess, and as far as market opportunities, we'll keep that top of mind. Is there any insights that you're seeing in the marketplace right now that you'd care to share? Is there any particular area where you're seeing a lot of movement, growth, anything like that? There's a lot of market share special here.
I mean, a lot of people are talking about recession, and granted, yes, we want to be prepared for the recession, but I still see the supply, the demand being high enough in several markets, and we are monetizing on that demand by supplying the properties and bringing the value by buying those properties and improving them. So I think while it's hyper local, there's certainly plenty of opportunities out there. You just have to look.
Got it. And that we will do, and we'll follow your lead. I know that you got a lot of articles out there. Where can people find out more about you, and where can they find you and connect with you?
They can find me through my website at samofinancial.com or on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, or BiggerPockets.
Excellent. We'll make sure that the Experiment Nation and everyone else who gets their hands on this lovely episode about Alina here will definitely get a chance to check out a lot of the great stuff that you're doing. And I myself, that's right, will be attending your next meetup here in New York. I'm not sure I can make the one in New Jersey, but I did tell you I am a man of my word, as I've said before, that I will definitely make sure to make the one in New York and show a lot of love there and continue to build on the relationship. I'm really stoked that you came in the lab today. You wore your lab coat. You dropped a lot of gems, and we can't wait to hear more of what you have coming. I know there's a lot of great things coming your way and that you're going to add to the community as well. So thank you for that, Alina.
Thank you, Ruben. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in person in a couple of weeks. And for those that are local to New York, New Jersey area, you're welcome to join us as well. And I'm more than happy to share the words of wisdom with your community.
Excellent, excellent. Just like that, we are out. Just